Okay, hi everybody. We are about to begin with Esoteric Astrology Adventure number 85. I was hoping to go on with it, but I think that when I record 6 programs in a row, I'm pushing my luck. And it may not always be possible for the conversion software to handle such a large load. We were talking about the 9 signs which are related to Virgo through the rulers of Virgo, and this includes Virgo itself. Left out of these signs are Leo, Libra, and Capricorn, which are called signs of crises, which test the point of evolution. These are signs which are determining in their effect, and they are related to the father aspect. The other signs are creative and prepare the soul for these tests. Later on page 472 there will be other signs of crisis, but there are 3 points particularly which Leo, Libra, and Capricorn test, and they are the point from individualization through individualistic evolution until that's Leo, until we reach the point when soul and personality can be balanced one against another, and a crisis of not only balancing but I would say decision is reached, wherein we have to decide whether we will go forward into the more severe tests of Scorpio. And finally, the crisis of initiation itself, 5-fold in nature, which is undertaken in Capricorn. These we discussed at the last, during EAA 84, section F. Now, we're on page 266, and we look again at the Leo, Libra, Capricorn triangle. And it says it constitutes the triangle of the father or will aspect. There's quite a bit of Saturn involved with all of them, and even Leo has Saturn involved, as the well-known Leo-Pisces Capricorn triangle aligns Mercury with Capricorn and Saturn, interestingly, with Leo and Shambhala. So Saturn is found in every one of these. It's the hierarchical ruler of Libra and also the exalted ruler, if you will. I like to call them exalted rulers, but we could simply say the planet in exaltation. It brings in much of the first ray, and Saturn is in many ways God the Father. There is some ambiguity in the sign Capricorn. It's both feminine in a way because earth and water signs are feminine, and yet it constitutes what we know as the father figure, with Cancer, the opposite sign, presenting the mother. These 3 signs mark points of attainment through crisis met and triumphant achievement. I suppose the point of attainment for Leo is to produce the solidly integrated personality, not necessarily spiritually oriented, but it's sort of the apotheosis of the third aspect of man in itself. The attainment of Libra is to decide rightly to pursue the path in a counterclockwise manner, which is in the natural order of the signs as we've come to know them. The triumph in Capricorn, and there are a number of such triumphs, is to pass expansively through every successive door of initiation into a wider life of consciousness and of power. So, giving added power and position to the emerging soul or Christ aspect within man. So this is the triangle of the father aspect. Interesting to consider the rulers for both Libra and Capricorn only hardline rays are coming through the planetary rulers as these rulers are normally considered. With Leo, it's quite different. The Sun rules in all three cases. And yet, interestingly enough, from the constellational perspective, the first and the fifth ray comes through Leo, the third ray through Libra, and the first, third, and seventh ray through Capricorn. So only hardline rays are coming constellationally through these particular signs. Then we look at what is called the Cancer, Virgo, Pisces triangle. Here there is a mixture. For both Virgo and Pisces, only the second and sixth ray emerge, but through Cancer, the third and seventh, and yet its rulers present soft line rays. And the rulers of Virgo, again, largely soft line rays except for the veiled Vulcan. For Pisces, a mixture of soft and hard line rays are presented through Jupiter second ray and Pluto first ray. This is the triangle of the mother aspect. The Moon and Neptune are powerful in all three of these signs. Cancer has the esoteric and hierarchical ruler as Neptune. Virgo, a veiled Neptune in the esoteric position, veiled by the Moon, and Pisces, Neptune in a special relationship with regards to humanity, a special relationship to this sign when the sign is applied to humanity as a whole. The Moon is powerful in both Cancer and in Virgo, and with Pisces' connection to the astral plane, to the emotional level, the Moon may also be considered in a position of affinity in Pisces. So these constitute the triangle of the mother or matter aspect. Neptune, in a way, rules the waters, and therefore the sea of matter, and Neptune is powerful in all of these. In this case, Uranus is the father aspect, and Neptune the mother aspect. If we look at the previous three signs of the father aspect, we have Uranus powerful as the veiled hierarchical ruler of Leo, and powerful as the esoteric ruler of Libra. It is not so connected with Capricorn, except that it distributes the seventh ray, and more of the seventh ray comes through Capricorn constellationally than through any other sign at this time. So these three constitute the matter aspect conditioned by intelligent activity. Pisces, the ocean of life, therefore the ocean of matter. Virgo, the opposite pole to spirit, closely identify with matter, let matter reign. Cancer, again, identified with the ocean of matter, powerful in the previous major solar system, just the way Virgo was. And in some ways, it looks like Pisces could have been too. Anyway, intelligent activity, or the activity of substance, is here. They all have a third ray relationship. Cancer, of course, through Cancer comes the third ray, through the constellation. Virgo, I believe, was related to the third ray in the previous major solar system, along with the seventh. Pisces, ruling the waters of life, which are matter, is naturally related to the third ray, and the ordinary mantram in Pisces, go forth into matter, shows this. So all three are conditioned by intelligent activity rather than will, per se. Maybe there's a triangle related to the sun aspect here as well. I don't know if he gives that. Anyway, these three indicate points of opportunity of an inner kind where consciousness is concerned. And therefore you have the recognition of mass, individual, and group consciousness. Now usually with group consciousness, usually Aquarius is mentioned, but sometimes that which is said of Aquarius is said of Pisces. They are overlapping constellations, and DK seems to connect them both with the later initiations, 3. Pisces even with initiation 3, it seems. And certainly with initiation 4, just the way Aquarius is. So, let's just say, usually, Aquarius is the sign associated with group consciousness. But in this case he includes Pisces, for reasons which he more deeply understands than we will. Anyway, the Jupiterian effect present in both Aquarius and Pisces gives the tendency to gather in groups and to consider the wholeness of the group and one's relation to that wholeness, overcoming separativeness through inclusiveness. So this is the mother or matter aspect connected with the third aspect of divinity, she who is the second but becomes the third. The sun, as I've said, being the third who becomes the second. And maybe some sort of six-pointed star arises here. Among the higher signs here we have Pisces and Capricorn. Virgo and Libra are quite central, and Cancer and Leo. Cancer-Leo are sometimes considered starting points for certain decanate circles. They are uniquely ruled, one by the moon and the other by the sun. Virgo-Libra, as we have been seeing, represents a point of balance achieved in the first hemicycle, and will become one sign, we are told, making 11 signs at a certain point in the future. As for Pisces and Capricorn, well, they are related in various ways, but essentially through spiritual discipline. Also kind of a Plutonic connection, with Pisces being ruled by Pluto in 2 of its positions, and Capricorn having to do with the descent into the underworld. A close study of the above ideas will prove fruitful in establishing methods and relationships. Methods of astrological interpretation, perhaps, because the method of interpreting esoterically is still in its infancy. Perhaps it's also because so few people are really in the position where they can benefit from principally esoteric interpretation. It has to be a bit of a mixture at the moment, because people are as much personalities as they are becoming souls, we might say. These establishing methods and relations, they should also indicate a key which astrologers can use when seeking to work with mass horoscopes. Perhaps when we look toward the mass, those in whom attraction to matter dominates, we really have to consider Cancer, mass consciousness; Virgo, let matter reign; Pisces, go forth into matter. The impressionability of the mass comes in Pisces. He talked about the Pisces personality of Germany during the Second World War or before it, and how they were so easily impressed because they were mainly negative and receptive in their consciousness. As we have studied these various constellations, we have often called them signs, though, have we not? We do know the difference, right? Constellations as galaxies of stars, and signs as concentrated influences. Really, the energy is the same. It's just a question of its intensity and the degree of its adaptation to use on Earth. We cannot use the constellational energies directly. They have to be adapted via the Davic forces, which together constitute the signs. So as we have studied these various constellations, it will have become apparent to you that the main function of the planets is to be distributing agents for the energies emanating from the zodiac. They are lesser gods. The planets are lesser gods. They are correlated with certain lords of constellations, from whom they receive certain energies and then adapt them for use within our solar system on the various planets. So the planets are to be distributing agents for the energies emanating from the zodiac as they converge within our solar system and become attracted to our planet. Great law of attraction is involved here. The law of attraction, and magnetically the energies which we can use come to our planet and operate under the law of assembly in Shambhala, where they are particularly organized for use upon this planet. There are many stations along the way. We are not receiving excuse me, we are not receiving constellational energy directly, nor are we necessarily able to commune directly with the planetary gods themselves. One has to be initiate of quite a degree to be able to do that. Students, that's what we are, need to understand more thoroughly than they do. I guess he's looking ahead, because when he first brought this out, there were relatively so few students of these subjects. Students need to understand more thoroughly than they do. The basis of the astrological sciences is the emanation, transmission, and reception of energies, and their transmutation into forces by the receiving entity. So, in this case, the planetary logoi. They are the receiving entities, but emanation, transmission, reception, these are important words, and I suppose could we but see it from the mountain of initiation, we would see the transmission, the crisscrossing, the tremendous pattern created by the emanated energies. We are receiving energies all the time, but the degree to which we can distinguish that which we receive is in question. We also receive not only isolated energies, but combinations of energies. I suppose rather than atomic, we can consider them molecular. And just the way a molecule may show quite a different character than its constituent atoms, so combined astrological energies may look like something rather different than the energies which combined to make the combination. So there's so many discriminations we must make regarding what's ambient and available and what we are receiving, and then of course how we use what we are receiving. The energies of the various signs are attracted, or does he mean constellations, by the different planets according to their stage of development. Just the way a disciple, an aspirant, or some sort of initiate would attract the energies of the master according to the stage of development of that disciple or aspirant or initiate. So the energies of the various signs are attracted by the different planets. Well, I would want to say there, it would make me more comfortable perhaps to say constellations, but there is a sense in which perhaps, this has been discussed in the International Academy of Esoteric Astrology, which really began 17 years ago at Ghost Ranch, of all places, in New Mexico. The people who have been involved astrologically have remained involved, even though that particular email group has long since seen its main spurt of activity. But there may be a sense in which the sun itself has a kind of aura which is 12-fold and constitutes signs which the constellations transmit to and which receive from the constellations. Each planet has, I think, a 12-fold aura, like so many sections of an orange, 12 of them, which constitute the signs as far as that planet is concerned. So what might be the relationship then between the signs which gather around the sun and which are magnetically related to the constellations and the energies of the planets? Are these constellational energies passed directly to the planets, or are they passed first to the sun and thence to the planets? When you look at the hourglass figure, I would say, around page 610 or so of Esoteric Astrology, you seem to see that the transmission of constellations, here it's zodiacal constellations, but okay, go to the sun first, and not directly to the lords of constellations. There's sort of a protocol here, a stepping down of power. So perhaps not direct transmission from the greater lord to the lesser lord, but the sun is used as an intermediary, kind of second aspect receiver, and then transmitter, with the planets representing the third aspect, and in this case the constellations representing the first aspect. The signs of the solar kind would gather around, these concentrated influences would gather around the sun, and then according to magnetism would continue the transmission of the transformed energies to the appropriate planets. All of this taking place on a cosmic and systemic scale, which we cannot yet, of course, fully understand, but we do receive energies in kind from the constellations, even though they reach us by a number of removes. So the energies of the various signs, perhaps surrounding the sun, and originally emitted or emanated from the constellations themselves, are attracted by the different planets according to their stage of development. The analogy holds good. We certainly attract different